have a special pet, which is kind of an unusual pet too. It was a little duck, and this was in Lake Worth. And this little duck had lost its mother and all its brothers and sisters. They were having a parade or something, and a car killed them all. And these people found this one little duck. And I happened to come along. They were trying to take it down to the lake and get another mother duck to take care of it. But you know, another mother duck will not take in another duckling. They just won't do that. And so I took the duck then. I told him I'd take the duck home and take care of it. Maybe I could find someone who would take care of it. Well, I'm the one that took care of it because I was teaching school, and I took that little duck to school with me so my 4-year-olds could have a pet at school. I bring it back home. Now, we had a little dog, and I never thought that little dog would like that duck. But you know, he got acquainted with that duck, and when the duck got a little bigger that it wouldn't crawl outside the fence, we were able to leave the duck and the dog in the fence during the daytime while we were working. And they just curl up together, the duck and the dog. And at night when I'd come home, I'd pick up the duck and hold the duck in my hand while we were watching TV or something. He'd sit on my shoulder or my arm, and he'd watch TV with us. He was a nice little pet.
So what happened when you let him go?
Well, he was getting pretty big, and you know, ducks like water, and he was getting a little messy outside the back door. So we decided to take him back to the lake, because he was able to swim. He was getting to be a pretty good sized duck. So we took him back to the little lake. But before we let him go, on his beak, I painted our house number so that I could find him again. And so a few days later, we took the dog, because sometimes the dog would be walking around the lake. We took the dog, and we found that duck again. And every now and then when I go, I would look for him, but I think he got acquainted with the other ducks, and he probably just swam around and made friends and became part of another duck's family then. Maybe he had his own. So that's the story of my little duck.
What was his name?
I don't know that we gave him a name. We just called him a little duck. I'm surprised my 4-year-olds didn't name him. Okay? How'd you like that story?
Okay. I really loved it. It was a really funny story. Where did you live when you were growing up?
I lived mostly in Elkins, West Virginia. I lived in that big house up there. And in one of those bedrooms up there, it was a big size bedroom. We had 2 big beds in it, double beds. But 4 of us girls shared that bedroom.
So 2 people slept in one bed?
2 people in a bed. Now that was the girls' room.
What did you like to do?
But when I was a child, you know, one of my favorite things was to walk around in the woods. And up the top of the hill was a dead old chestnut tree. And a long time ago, the chestnut trees got a blight on them. That means they got a disease. And many, many chestnut trees died. And this was an old chestnut tree. And we called that chestnut tree Grandma. Grandma's house. And so, of course, I had Doris to play with and June to play with, my sisters. So we'd hike up to Grandma's house and we could climb on that tree and we'd play up there at the top of the hill where we could look out and see all over the valley.
Tell me about when you adopted Mike and Ellen.
Well, your grandpa and I were married several years, and we knew we wanted to have a little baby, and we thought we would have a good home for a baby. And so we put in to adopt the baby. And, of course, the social worker had to come to your house, and you had to have a lot of interviews, and so we went through all that. And I was teaching school, and it was the last day of my school, and they called and said they had a baby for us. So we had to go to another town, which was about probably 70 miles away, Roanoke.
Wow.
We lived in Danville, Virginia at that time, so we had to go to Roanoke. So I was so excited, and everyone was so excited for me. So the next day, your granddad and I got up early, and we drove to Roanoke. And we saw this sweet little baby. Oh, he was so sweet. And my heart just went out to him. But they had a rule that you had to wait till the next day to take the baby home. Of course, we followed all the rules. And we stayed in a motel that night. And that night, I think I had labor pains. My stomach hurt me so bad. And the next morning, I didn't sleep much because I kept thinking about that little baby I was going to take home. And the next morning, we got up and we went to get Michael back to the office, and they brought this little baby out. Said, "Here's your son." And so we got Michael and drove all the way back to Danville.
And but how'd you get Aunt Ellen?
How did a what?
How'd you get Aunt Ellen?
And Ellen, well, it was about probably about 18 months later we decided that we'd try for a little girl. Now Michael was about 3 months old when we got him. And they just changed the rules that you could get a younger baby. in Virginia, they had to be 10 days old before you could take it. So we did they came to our home and we did all the paperwork to get Ellen in. And we had gone to West Virginia to marry Karen and Robert Shaw, your cousins.
Wait, Mary?
Yeah, Uncle Kenny's daughter. And
Wait.
that was
Who's gonna marry them?
your grandpa was going to marry him.
I thought he was married to you.
No, he was going to marry them as a minister. See, your grandpa can marry a couple, just like he
No.
married your mom and dad. So, and he helped to marry Ellen too. And so, we made that trip to West Virginia, and we just got back home, and they called us and told us that they had a baby for us. And so, they wanted us to bring Michael. So, we went over there, and I don't think we spent the night. I think they let us take Ellen. Here, Ellen was only 18 days old. So she was really little. She was the tiniest little baby. And I had a little yellow outfit for her. And I brought her home. And Michael came home. Michael was with us. And he helped to bring her home.
The little boy?
Yeah.
Is that all the questions for now?
Wait, did